G'day YouTube, Warbles on here, and although I have a couple of kangaroos harassing me for food, this is not actually meant to be a movie about kangaroos. This is meant to be a movie about SunFoils. Okay? Now, those of you who've been following the story are aware that my son's diesel four-wheel drive Holden Rodeo has a SunFoil on it, and he keeps a fuel log. And yesterday, after an absence of 10 days, in the middle of, what have we got, 14th of the 10th to the 29th of the 10th. So, a couple of weeks, I had his SunFoil for 10 days. And on the graph, with the long run baseline, those 10 days are represented by this vertical orange bar. And behold, it actually shaved 6% of his fuel efficiency for that one tank of fuel, but it was achieved over half the time, so it's actually looking at a 12% fuel efficiency change, which is interesting. If I'm more or less right, that's about the area I'm expecting the Fuelburn to move into. Right? I expect he's going to come up above the 9 kilometres to the litre, because that's what he got on his first trip from Tamworth to Glen Innes. And the only other times he's achieved anything like that was when he was on a trip from Glen Innes to Port Macquarie. So I'm assuming that that's something like what the vehicle is capable of when the battery is full. So, that's what I've got in terms of results on the diesel SunFoil experiment. The good news is, a bloke who's married to the girl that I was sweet on when I was in kindergarten, he runs a business making steel sheds, and he drives around in a 10-ton medium rigid diesel truck. And he's taken his truck down and he's let my son measure it for its SunFoil, and it needs a 140 watt panel, and then they had a look in the book and found that the cheapest panel they could get, which cost them actually $300, which is less than the 30 watt panel on my car. Mine's 30 watts at 12 volts, a 1.7 amp panel. They went out and they ordered a 190 watt 24 volt panel for his 24 volt diesel truck, and that cost him $300. Right? That gives you some idea of how much solar panels have reduced in price in the last 3 years. And it's been in twice for a fitting, and I think sometime next week, old mate, the tin shed builder, is going to become the proud test pilot for the world's first medium rigid diesel truck with a 24 volt SunFoil. The reason it's such a big panel is, as I think I may have explained in a different video, diesels need the biggest solar panel you can fit on the roof of the vehicle without looking stupid. Alright? Because diesels have these things called glow plugs, because to be a proper diesel engine, you should have about 25:1 compression ratio. If you have 25:1 compression ratio, the engine's got to be so strong to withstand the forces, that it's as heavy as a mongrel, and it's really rattly at low speed. It makes, it clatters. For passenger vehicles, like it's okay for a truck to have a proper diesel engine with a 25:1 compression ratio, but for passenger vehicles they like a much more lightweight engine, and it's got to run smooth at idle. So they reduce the compression ratio, and a hot diesel will run at 15 or 16:1 compression ratio. A cold diesel needs 25:1 compression ratio to squeeze the air small enough so there's enough heat in the compressed air charge to ignite the diesel fuel in the vapour. So to get around it, they build a lightweight diesel which needs to be preheated, and they preheat it with electricity. And each cylinder in a lightweight passenger diesel has a 30 amp glow plug, and if the engine is cold, then the glow plug comes on, because it's temperature connected. The glow plug comes on for 30 seconds before you start the engine, and it keeps running for as long as 3 minutes. And if you've got a 4-cylinder engine, it may actually suck 7 amp hours out of your battery to start your diesel engine once from cold. If you've got lots of hot starts during the day, it won't be nearly so bad, because my petrol engine car that has no glow plugs, because it only has like a 12:1 compression ratio and it has a spark plug to set fire to the mixture, my car uses a 20th of an amp hour. So diesels use a lot of electricity. Anything you can do to reduce the battery's dependence on the engine is going to reduce your fuel burn. So yeah, my prediction is the biggest panel you can fit on a diesel is the best one that's going to work. Right? It took a couple of months, right, for my son's vehicle to actually respond to having a 30-watt panel on a Holden four-wheel drive. I think it's a 3 litre, might be 3.5, but I think it's 3 litre 4-cylinder, turbocharged, intercooled diesel 4-wheel drive. And so, there we have all the news that is news regarding diesel SunFoils. We got a dose-response relationship out of the first one, and the second one's going to be a 190 watt panel at 24 volts on a 10-ton truck. And I'm really pleased that, friends of mine and my son are cooperating with these experiments. Warbles on a lot to the global SunFoil community. Ciao.